Hi there. Thank you for joining me for my presentation. My name is Lucas Thorpe, and today I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to share with you some of my very passions. Today we're going to talk about mental wellness in public schools and our critical response. The word critical is very important in this. First, I'd like to share with you a little bit about myself and why this is one of my passions. I am indeed an education major. I'm pursuing a degree in Family and Consumer Science Education. A way I explain this is that Family and Consumer Science is the modern day version of home ec. Home ec and Family Consumer Science focuses on developing in students the very essential life skills that they will need to better their own lives. Mentoring, advising, and counseling these students to better themselves. And this is why mental wellness is very important to me. I've had several experiences in elementary schools near me, middle schools near me, that I've done studies in, that I've seen firsthand the very mental illnesses that are impacting our students. And I know firsthand why that this is important for us to really focus on. There is a huge need. With an influx of behavioral issues inside of all of our levels of public schools, this includes elementary, middle, and high schools, there must be an immediate focus placed on developing and maintaining and developing. Both of those are key factors here. A positive mindfulness remediation techniques in order to improve the mental wellness of not just Dorchester County, not just the state of Maryland, but all of America's youth. Maintaining and developing are key words there, because we have to start at the developing point of, okay, let's assess our needs, let's see where we're at, let's develop programs to help our students, and then maintaining. It's not just a 1 day or a 1 month or a 1 year program, but a program that is going to follow students from pre-K to the moment they walk across the stage their 12th grade year. I did a lot of research, and I'd like to lay out the facts for you. There was a research study done by a team of professionals. And this research study was done on 1,548 total youth in 28 different public charter schools in 9 different community-based settings. So a very wide variety of impact here. Now, these studies were done in big cities such as Chicago, and coming from a graduating class of 119 students, there's a big difference in these schools that this particular research study is examining versus the high school I graduated from. But the facts remain the same. Among the students studied, this is the impact that the exposure to traumatic events had on these students. 41.7% of these students witnessed at least a shooting, a stabbing, or a beating. 18.3% of these students witnessed a murder. 53.8% of the students witnessed the murder of someone else. These exposure to traumatic events are life impacting for these students. These students also have several adverse outcomes. 21.2% of these students studied screened positive for depression. 45.7% of these students studied had a lifetime PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. And 26.9% of those students studied screened positive for current PTSD. Now, the facts aren't pretty, but the facts show the bigger need for a bigger focus on mental health of our youth. Children's exposure to violence is linked, a direct link is a leading cause to mental health, mental wellness issues. Now that we know the facts, it's alarming, but we're not alone, and there are solutions. Another study was done by another group of trained and very professionals, and they correlated physical activity and mental wellness. The evidence is unequivocal. In treating mental illnesses, regular physical activity can be just as, if not more, impactful in a positive way than treatments such as antidepressant pills prescribed by doctors. In this study, 24 participants were in the study as a whole. Each one of those participants, 18 of them, had major depressive disorders or bipolar II disorders. So these people that were being studied had disorders, mental health issues. And it was linked when they studied their physical activity, that physical activity helped them in a positive way. There are four key factors, four key facilitators to this physical activity. Easy facilitators that can be done by any human being. It does not have to be a trained individual in the mental health field. We can encourage social connection. We can encourage develop routines, exposure to nature, and a variance in activities. These four key facilitators in the overarching goal of physical activity is linked to increasing the positiveness of mental health. Lastly, I'd like to talk to you about mindfulness. Mindfulness programs are popping up all across America. Thousands of schools across the country are developing these programs within their schools and placing them in their schools, and they're having a huge impact. So let's talk about what mindfulness programs are. One, they create a safe space. They improve academics. They're an antidote for stress. And lastly, they transform school culture. Mindfulness programs are a I Am Calm Now program. I can explain firsthand what a mindfulness program looks like. For instance, if a student is struggling in a class, they're just not having a good day. I showed you the facts earlier about, the exposure to violence, and we know what's going on at home. We don't get to see that at school, but we know what's going on at home. They're just not having a good day. With these mindfulness programs, with these mindfulness rooms, that student can be removed from that academic setting with a whole bunch of triggers. Other students, teachers, work, whatever it is, their triggers. They can be removed from it, put into a mindfulness room where basically they take away all that stress. That graphic that's on the screen, mind full or mind full. On the left, you can see the mind is full. The students' exposures to violence, to PTSD, to depression, it's full in their minds, not allowing them to succeed. When we're pulling them away from that and we're giving them a place to just relax and be themselves, their minds can empty and they become more mindful in the end. Mental wellness is critical for our students to succeed. Mental wellness is critical for our students to succeed. The reality is, the older someone gets, the harder it is to get access to mental health professionals. So as teachers, as community leaders, as community members, it is our obligation. It is our obligation to start with our students. Mental wellness is critical for our students to succeed. Our students can't succeed academically without our support. On the screen, I'm showing you my sources that I use for this. Indirect violence exposure and mental health symptoms among an urban public school population, prevalence and correlates. Jump Step, a community-based participatory approach to physical activity and mental wellness. And finally, best practices for bringing mindfulness into schools. I encourage you to go and research, do your own research, and read these articles that I provided for you. These are all very good articles that I've built my research upon, and they show you the correlation of, for example, physical activity and mental wellness and mindfulness in public schools, and what's the real cause of mental wellness. Again, mental wellness is critical, is crucial for our students to succeed. Thank you.